All right, so welcome. My name is Jessica Riverson, and my company is Permission to Charge. No, it's not my birthday, as someone just asked. I'm actually celebrating Alina Vincent, who's on with me. She's the creator of Facebook Traffic Explosion, and I'm going to actually read her bio in a moment. But today, I'm really excited. Yeah, it is cheesy, but
I stopped her from doing glitter and throwing glitter everywhere.
Glitter, but I'm wearing glitter here. So, yeah, I wanted to make it a fun celebration, and I wanted to really showcase Alina Vincent. She is my secret weapon. She's the person I've learned all my Facebook secrets from, and I'm still learning a lot. Thank you, Cora, for sharing that. So I wanted to have her come on, tell her story about how she used Facebook to transform her business, talk about the 5 big mistakes that we all might be making, and share her Facebook Traffic Explosion. It's kind of like the birthday maybe of your program, because I know today is the last day.
It is.
That people can sign up. So we'll share info about that later.
I should have thought about it, because it's been about a year since I first created it, since I
it's like
first
your
started
program
it.
your program has a birthday.
Yes, okay, so it is a birthday.
Yeah.
Now I want a balloon.
Let me tell you guys officially about Alina. I'm going to read her bio so that you get all the details. She works with business owners who are looking to shorten their paths to profitability and scalability and get a 5-year head start by working with her. She's a business and technology strategist. And I'm just going to kind of read the short version, Alina, just so that we can keep going. So I'm reading it a little bit out of order. Let's see here. I want to make sure. Okay. So before she launched her company, which is Business Success Edge, she served as an award-winning instructional designer for the University of Nevada, Reno. So she lives in Reno. And she honed her curriculum, talents, and technology savvy there. She's the author and successful promoter of her own books, Amazon bestsellers, You Stock TM, Increase Sales by Branding and Personalized Marketing Photography, and another book called Personal Paparazzi. I love that name. Personal Paparazzi, Tell Your Brand Story Your Way. Alina works at the intersection of logic and imagination. She wants her clients to make the most of their own talents and gifts to create their best success edge, their best business success edge. And whether clients enroll in her popular Facebook Traffic Explosion program, engage in her How to Create, Design, and Launch Your First Money-Making Program training, or hire her to catapult their new books to Amazon bestseller status, one thing is certain, that they will benefit from business growth strategies, step-by-step guidance, technology strategies, recommendations, and focus on the end results from the very first point of contact. So she's got tons of testimonials on her website, businesssuccessedge.com. And I think the best way for us to get to know you is for you to tell your story, how you originally got started. I know you've done so many things in your career, but maybe just start with how Facebook kind of came in and transformed your business, and then how that led you to this business.
Sure. And thank you for reading my bio. I know it's kind of hard to read.
No, it's great. I haven't actually read your official bio. So that was kind of fun.
I have a short version somewhere too, but okay. So as Jessica said, I was instructional designer for years and years, and I worked at the university for about 16 years. When I decided that wasn't creative enough, I didn't have enough room to play. So I quit my job at the university in the midst of everybody's getting cut, everybody's worried about their jobs. I said, I'm just going to quit and start my own business. And little did I know that even though I knew everything about the business I wanted to open, I wanted to open a photography business because it was creative, because it was fun, because I already knew how to do it. But I did not know anything about marketing. And I did not realize that having a business is all about how you market yourself. So I found myself in this culture shock of, oh my gosh, I'm good and I'm really good. And people who find me, like what I do, but nobody finds me. So that's when I hired a business coach. And one of the first things she said, you need to be on social media. So I opened my accounts on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and Instagram and Pinterest. And I started using them and learning about how to market myself on social media. And I started doing things that 6 months from there, a year from there, people started stopping me and saying, okay, what did you do? Because they started seeing me everywhere. Everybody's talking about me. People would stop and say, I feel like I know you. I see you everywhere on Facebook, or I've been Facebook's stalking you for a couple of years now. And pretty much within a year, I went from this absolutely best known secret, nobody knows anything about me or my photography business, to the best headshot photographer in Reno.
Wow.
And when I people started coming to me and saying, yes, I made it. Because now I know I'm serious in business because I got to take my pictures with you. It was like, wow, people measure their success by whether they've worked with me or not. And it all happened seemingly overnight. So people started coming to me and saying, okay, what are you doing? And of course, with my analytical science back, like I have degree in theoretical physics and computer science and engineering, I'm like, I got to analyze this. I got to see what I'm doing differently because obviously it's not what everybody else is doing. And I figured it out and I started doing it on purpose, and just my business has completely skyrocketed. So I got my photography business from 0 to 6K within like a year and a half or so, which is unheard of for photography because everybody's a photographer. Yes, well, because nobody wants to pay, right? Everybody has a camera. So it's a hard one to have a high-end business. And then because I was learning so much about marketing, so much about how to promote yourself, what it means to talk to your customers, that people started asking me for business advice. So I eventually slowly morphed my business into marketing expert. I was a Facebook marketing expert without the quotes, but that was just what I was calling myself. And then eventually I realized I'm a business strategist. So I learn a lot of things and I help people get to the same place. But if you want to hear the secret that I found with Facebook, because that's what you're all here for.
Yeah.
Right? So what I've discovered and what I'm doing now for my business, for my coaching business, is use of the visuals. The social media is pretty much right now, I would say 98% visual. In a couple of years, there's probably going to be no text. It's all going to be the Snapchat and videos and images. But what happens is that's what stops us in our tracks. Think about it. Like when you're on Facebook and you're scrolling down, what stops you? It's usually an image. It's usually some kind of a visual that grabs your attention, and then you look at the actions. Then you look at what are they actually telling you. Then you read the words and do whatever they want you to do or interact with them somehow.
That's a great tip, and that's something I learned from you is every post you make has to have a graphic with it.
Yes. Doesn't matter whether it's a question or a statement, or that's actually one of the 5 mistakes. However, so what I realized what I was doing differently as a photographer is most of the photographers, they would go and they take a picture of their client, they would post the finished product and say, ta-da, here's the finished product. What I was doing was I was telling stories with my images because I was taking pictures of my studio. I was taking pictures of my equipment. I had behind the scenes pictures of me working with clients. I had pictures of my makeup artist making goofy faces. I have pictures of my clients getting pampered in the makeup chair, getting their makeup done. I've had before and after pictures. I've done, like, anytime I traveled, anytime I was on location, I was documenting it. So there was so much about me that people could see that it created such an amazing 3D image that people knew exactly what to expect, and they felt like they already knew me. And this is exactly what I'm now teaching and what I'm doing in my coaching business. So even though it's not photography, it's not as visual as the photography business was, exactly the same things still apply. You want to tell people stories around you and your business and your products and your services. So
Facebook's always changing. So one thing I love about you is you're always updating me on the latest changes, the nuances, things we need to know. And also because you're creative and you're also very analytical, you've got the whole creative, how to tell a brand story side to you. But then you have this other side that's like step by step, you know, everything's just totally organized. Do this first, then do this, links, and just like literally just step by step videos and tips that make it so even the most non-techie person can figure it out of, you know, because you go, okay, what should I post today or this week or this month? Like, what do I focus on? What do I say? And that's the thing that I hear so many times from other students like myself, that they finally have a clear path of what they should be, what is the story they're supposed to be telling, and how do they do it. When you go on Facebook and you see these beautiful graphics or people are doing these cool things and you're like, how do I do that? And you literally take people step by step how to do that. And I don't think I've taken a ton of courses, like so many courses. And I think yours is probably the most detail oriented and comprehensive, as far as it's just so step by step, and there's so much direction and instruction about what to do, especially even on a daily basis. So that's what I love about, and maybe that comes from your background with creating curriculum before.
It's actually really funny. I just got email. I got a note yesterday about that, and I got an email. I was just reading it. It says, I listened to your webinar last week, because I've done 2 or 3 webinars last week. And the lady says, your academia shows, like your background in education shows, you're so precise, you're so step by step. It was so clear and so well laid out. Like, you don't have any questions after you listen to this. I'm like, okay, thank you. But yeah, it's like people starting to know this, because it's not fluff. It's not all over the place. And because when I used to teach like intro to physics, intro to computer science. It's always like, let's pretend nobody knows anything. Let's level the playing field and start with the basics. And then this way, people who already know stuff, they might find the little holes they have here and there, or fine tune something. And people who don't know where to start, like people who don't even have a Facebook page, like, okay, let's start our first day with, how do you create a Facebook page? Or even step back, like, what is the difference between a personal profile and Facebook page and a group, and which one should you have, and which one is better, or what are the differences between them? Because a lot of people, they're like, oh, I'm on Facebook, and they don't know what anything is called or what things they're used for.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, Rich Girl says being a good teacher is hard. Definitely. And I think that's what's really cool, is your background working at the university definitely lends itself to you creating curriculum. I'm just reading some of the comments. Yeah, it is hard. I agree with Danielle.
And it's really fun.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. So I think when you get those kind of compliments on your course material, it means a lot, you know? Okay, so this is a perfect segue. I want to share some of my stats. If you've been on my last couple blabs, you might have heard some of these, but this is to inspire those of you that are on, that you're either not really on Facebook, or you are on Facebook and you're spending a lot of time and you're not really seeing a return on investment for that time. So I am one of Alina's students, and that's why I call, if you see the title of this, that she's my secret weapon. And she continues to be, because I truly still have a lot to learn despite these amazing stats. So the first thing is, I've been calculating on a spreadsheet, and I have figured out that 60% of my coaching clients are coming from Facebook. So that is awesome, because about 2 years ago, the main way that I would get attract clients is to go and speak in my local area here in Seattle. And it's a great strategy. I mean, it's a killer strategy. But I didn't want to have to speak all the time, you know, and you got to get dressed up and leave your house. And a lot of the reason that I do what I do is because I like to work from home, and I like that flexibility. So if you have to constantly look for speaking gigs, unless you love it, that's great. And I do love it, but I really wanted more of my business to come online. And so now 60% of my clients are coming from Facebook. I have been able to attract discovery sessions or consults, whatever you want to call them, through a single Facebook post. My Facebook group, this is an update since the last time we talked, is now 404 members. Nice. And I just can't help because I have to put a link to that really quick every time I mention it because people ask me. By the way, it is for women entrepreneurs. So I really apologize if you're a guy and want to join the group. There's so many awesome groups that I'm in, like Alina's group. So Alina, would you actually post a link to your group as well? Because Alina's got an amazing group too, since we're on the topic.
Yeah, and that's for business owners who think big. So anybody's welcome.
Yeah, that's a co-ed group. It's awesome. I love her group. And I think if you really want to see an amazing example of how to run a Facebook group, I mean, she runs her group in such an organized, supportive way. And then I posted my group, which is Permission to Charge Community. And that one is for women entrepreneurs, especially coaches and consultants. So I've grown that group from 0 to 404 awesome ladies. I think it hasn't been that long. I'll have to look and see when I started it, but I believe it's like 6 months ago. After I enrolled in Alina's Facebook Traffic Explosion, I enrolled a 10K client through Facebook who found me through Facebook. And I think that was like the first time. Well, I had done
that it works.
Yeah, it was like the first time. I mean, I think because I had done some Facebook ads, but this was the first time that I met someone through a group, and then they wanted to speak with me, and then they enrolled in my program. So it was kind of like that light bulb of the power of groups. I've had people say, Jessica, I've been following you, and it makes me go like, really? I don't know why it still surprises me because I know there's people on the other side watching, but when someone says that, you feel such a great compliment that someone is listening to your content and your trainings and webinars and things. They're reading your posts. By the way, Alina, in the last couple of days, I've posted some graphics that have been shared many, many times. And that's also something that Alina has taught me is how do you create a post that gets shared lots and lots of times and to have that kind of link back to you. And then people go, well, who's that gal or who's that guy? And so that's been really fun to see some of my posts get shared and shared and shared. I've been asked for telesummits, podcasts, radio shows. I get asked quite a bit, but I also use Facebook to look for those opportunities. I have had people purchase my home study program while I was asleep, and I woke up the next day and people purchased it. I've actually filled a very small, low price point group program just from posting. I didn't even do a webinar or anything through Facebook groups. Those are some of my big, just seeing if there's anything else. Those are my big stats. And then I have a whole list of all the tools and things that I've learned. And I keep telling people that I've just scratched the surface because, there's more to master. And I'm the kind of person where I'll learn a couple tools and then I'll get the result and I'll just keep doing that over and over. And then now I can kind of go back into her curriculum and say, okay, now I'm ready for like a few more tools. So those are my awesome stats. And what I wanted to do now is we can maybe see if there's questions and then we can go into the top 5 mistakes. Sure. What do you think, Alina? Should we do it that way?
I would love to do questions. And I wouldn't be surprised if the questions lead us to the 5 mistakes.
Absolutely. Now, I'm just going to take a moment because we've been talking for a while. If you're just joining us, welcome. We really appreciate that you're here with us live. Please do follow Alina, follow myself. I'm doing blabs quite often. Alina and I are both business coaches. And so, join her group, join my group. We put the links, subscribe to us, and also subscribe to the other people that are in this this blab. I know Danielle, she's under Rich Girl Business, Danielle Merle. Follow her. She's totally all over Blab and Periscope and doing awesome things. Follow Cora. Trying to see who else I know, but do follow each other. Everyone that's in this blab. And then if you would click this button, it says "Tell a Little Bird." That will let people know that that will, tweet this out and other people can join this conversation. So it's a little button. It says, tell a little bird. You can tweet that out. And this would be a great time to post a question. If you have a question, what you want to do is post, someone's going to probably have to remind me again. I think it's /:colon. Yeah, /:colon. That will put your question. No, that didn't quite work.
It's a Q and // I think.
Yeah, I always forget how to do it. Is it Q and //
Yep.
Okay. So Q / and then you put your question. All right. So would love to hear your questions. And then are we opening up our seats at all? We've got.
Yeah. Why don't we get a live question? If anybody would like to ask a question.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So what I'm going to do is the seat. Okay. We've got a seat open. I don't know how to open the fourth seat.
Somebody has to request to be on the chat. So anybody who's watching right now, if they would like to join, and then once you see them, you can promote them to them.
Yeah, but I'm just saying right now, I only see one seat open, and there's actually should be two. So maybe if someone requests, it'll open up the other seat. So if you would like to come on live and have some one-on-one time with my secret weapon, Alina Vincent, ask her anything. Yeah, ask her anything you want about your particular business and maybe how Facebook could work for your business if you have questions. Oh, thank you, J-Rod Sales. Okay, so he said the fourth seat opens after the third one. So this is like my 11th or 12th blab, and I love how Alina is telling me how to do it when
I've never done one. But I watched a couple.
Well, that shows you guys that Alina is quick. She finds the new technology and she learns it, and then she's just the ultimate teacher. So if you would like to request to hop into the seat, you can come on live. We'll see you and hear you. And then you can ask Alina any questions about your particular business and how Facebook, maybe talk about your current strategy, and she could answer any questions. And if we don't have anyone, we can just kind of go forward with what we wanted to share today. And then as we go along, if someone wants to hop in, that's another way we can approach it. And then again, I didn't mention for those who are joining, these balloons are for Alina because today is the last day to join her Facebook traffic explosion. So I wanted to, one of these is a birthday balloon, but this one is blue for her brand color. So we're making a party out of it today. Well, let's go on and we'll let someone hop in as they have a question. So why don't you start by sharing, I know there's 5 Facebook mistakes that you train people on. So what's the first one?
Sure. Well, and the first one is something we already mentioned. So I'll just start there, is visuals. So you don't ever want to post a text post. Text?
Like never? Like,
out of the last 100, maybe 2 that I've done were text posts, and only because I was like in the airport or something and I wasn't in front of a computer. Normally my reaction was like, oh, I want to ask a question. Let me make a visual thing. And so when I was talking about earlier, because I started as a photographer, a huge part of my visuals were photographs, right? Images like the actual pictures. But when we talk about visual, it's graphics, it's infographics, it's video, it's screenshots, it's just those little quotes, memes. So anything that is not text is a visual. So that's where I'm going. So anytime I want to ask a question, instead of just saying, hey guys, can you help me figure out what's the better title? I'm going to go find or buy an image that has a question mark on it. Yeah. Or I'm going to open one of the apps and just type in, I have a question. Do you like A or B? And post that. So this way, anytime I'm posting anything, there's a visual post accompanying my question. And it's a question, it's a statement, it's promoting anybody, and it could be as easy as screenshot. It could be as easy as just a picture of a flower. Usually you want it to be a lot more related and you want to brand it so you still have the visibility so people can see what you're doing. But my rule of thumb is never make a post without a visual component, whatever that might be.
And why is that such a mistake?
Oh, well, there's so many different reasons. So number one, people are a lot more visual. Like there's like 90% people are more visual than they are in all of the other senses. Visual stuff stays with you longer. You remember things longer. It sinks into your long-term memory versus the short-term memory. And just in general, think about if you were to look at 10 images or read 10 paragraphs of text, which one would you rather do? Because we're in this like really noisy world, because we're bombarded with information. If it's something you can see at a glance, you'll more likely to consume it and engage with it. If it's just text, it's boring, it gets lost, it's great. And in general, like one of the latest statistics that I saw, posts with images on Facebook get 179% more engagement, which is likes, comments, and shares. 179%. Yes.
Wow.
So it's like, why not, right? There's no reason to do just text. So the only time I do text on Facebook is if I'm commenting on somebody else's stuff.
Yeah.
If it's my own original.
When people are scrolling, they scroll. But when there's an image, you kind of pause and you look. So I think that example really hit home for me, because I'm like, oh, that's exactly what I do.
Yep.
So
just think about it. Next time you're going, whether it's on your phone or on your timeline on the computer, you stop because you saw something and you're like, oh, what was that red blob? Or was that the face that I recognize? Or what is this person doing? There's always an image that makes you go, oh, let me go back and see what that was.
Absolutely. So we have a question. So Sci-Fi Funk, do you want to come into the seat? Oh, he does. Okay, let's let him in.
Oh.
Steve Payne. Hey, Steve.
Oh, cute.
Nice to meet you. That's very nice. Nice to meet you, Jessica and Alina.
Hi, where are you coming in from?
I'm from England, Bournemouth, which is on the south coast.
Okay.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Welcome. What's
Thank
your question for Alina?
Well,
or for Jessica.
Well, either would be brilliant. So it's slightly embarrassing to even ask this question, really, because I'm a 3D artist and you're talking post pictures. So really the answer on my failing Facebook page now is probably post more pictures. But the question comes to you now. Producing pictures of my art takes time. I'm making a 3D animation. I can show stills. I occasionally show stills, but I can't produce them at a fast enough rate to engage people every day. So what are your thoughts on getting an art project moving, if you like?
Oh, oh my gosh, you're sitting on a gold mine.
Yeah.
Well, it's simple. Like, I would like to see the process. Like, I don't really even care about the final animation, but imagine, like, if you have, I'm sure you do some kind of a drawing on paper, right? Before you even start animating things, right?
Well, I do tutorials on YouTube, so I have.
But not even that. But just say, okay, so you show a scratch paper and say, look, I'm just gonna draw a stick figure. You say, look, here's my sketch for my today's project, right?
Yeah,
you just take a picture of it with your phone or however you want to do. And then you post another thing and say, look, here it is after I've animated it. So people want to see the progress. People want to see before and afters. People want to see even you working, like with you with probably like 3 monitors and your tablet or however you do it, right? That's the stuff. Okay.
Even pictures of his tools laid out,
Yes.
or your pencils, or
like people are still amazed that I use like a tablet. I mean, they think this is sci-fi, like they're like, really? Why do you use that? Like, I haven't used the mouse in years, and people are like, really? So people want to see all that. So that's just even beyond, like, not even touching your animations and doing your little screenshots here and there. Just, again, take your cell phone and take a picture of your monitor and post it. It's like, I mean, make sure it's not like fuzzy and weird. Like, you know how sometimes it gets the lines, but just say, this is what I'm working on.
Or
Wouldn't you like to see
on
that?
the computer, he could do a screenshot.
Yeah, or do a screenshot on the computer. So, but just like anything, because people want to see this in progress and process, and then they become part of the process, and then they want to see the final result. So you want them to get excited about it. Like, you have so much, and then you can say, I'm creating this character. Do you think he should be wearing a red hat or a green hat? And give them 2 choices. Even that as alone is enough to get people to talk about it. And then they feel like, I've contributed. It's like there's a part of me in this. So when you have the final product, they're like, I helped.
Yeah, that's very good advice. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
So,
yes, no, you do it.
Steve, I want to recommend that you listen to her webinar that she did last week. I'm going to give you the link right here. Did it?
Thank you.
Let's see. I don't know why my things aren't posting. Are you guys seeing things that I'm posting?
No.
Not at the moment. It's because we're live. That's the whole hilarity of the moment.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Brilliant.
Oh, wow,
Thank you.
there's 3 of them.
If you check out her webinar, she goes way in depth on some of the tips that she just gave you.
Thank you so much.
So
Yeah, awesome. By the way, everyone, listen to her webinar today because today is the last day at midnight Pacific.
Midnight Pacific, yes.
Okay, so what is that like Eastern? Or what is that?
3 a.m.
3 a.m. Okay, so it's midnight.
So they have about 15 hours left.
Yeah, 15 hours.
Ish.
Listen to her webinar. Check out her program.
Yeah, do you want to post a link to the program as well?
Yeah, I'll post a link to her program. Definitely at least take a look, everyone, because this is really where all these tips are coming from. There we go. So you got a couple of things to check out. Any other questions, Steve, before I bring on Alora?
No, I'm going to boot myself off and say nice to meet you both. And
so nice to meet you.
And thank you for asking really awesome questions.
Yeah, that was
to
a
see
really
what
great
you do.
question. Thank you, Steve. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, let's bring Alora on. She said she had a question.
Alora, okay. I think she was on my webinar. Her name looks familiar.
Cool. Let's see. And then Sarah Ortiz, do you have a question? Because I see you're trying to hop in. So let us know what your question is, and then I'll bring you on after Alora.
And I think Alora is on. She just doesn't have her video.
Yeah.
Can you speak?
There's some kind of issue going on. So I'm going to, here we go.
There we go. Hi.
Glory today. Jessica, thank you so much for hosting Alina on the show. It's amazing. I love you, Alina. I think you do such awesome work. I was on the webinar last week.
Yes, I
did. And I got so much out of it. I would love to sign up for your program. And as soon as my shoestring budget grows a little bit, I have
Or you can sign up and it's going to grow so much faster.
One or the other.
By the way, there's a payment plan is it $99 a month?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just making that known that it's a year-long program.
You get to pick my brain for a year.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
I love that. And I just need it.
Yeah, she's very good at responding to questions.
Wonderful. Now, Alina, I did have a question for you beyond all the praise. I have done some things on Facebook, but only on a personal level. I started a Laura Adelson speaker site. Mm-hmm. And I really didn't continue with it. I mean, I didn't do anything with it. So it's just sitting there. For my particular business in my niche, which is doing something within spirituality, that I'm narrowing my niche down at this point, I don't know if it would be good to use my speaker page or just to start from scratch and have another fan page.
What's your big goal? Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Once everything falls together and everything is working the way you want it to be. Do you want to be just a speaker or?
No, I want to be successfully giving webinars, selling products that I make, and beyond informational products, I make a line of alternative healing therapies. And I want to be successful on every level.
Doing lots of
with
different
mailing
things.
List of.
So when you create a page, create it for your vision, not for where you are right now. So think about, if you're going to put all this time and effort into it now, where do you see yourself? So you'll grow into it. So even if you're not offering all of this right now, you're fostering the relationships, people are liking you, people starting to follow, you'll fill in the gaps, but build your page for the biggest vision you have for yourself. So create a name that will encompass everything you want to do. So it's teaching, it's helping people, it's healing, it's spirituality. So come up with like a big umbrella name. It could be even just your name, or it could be the actual business name, and then build a page around that, and everything else will come out of it. Because I'm a speaker, I'm an author, I'm a coach, I'm a photographer, I have a lot of things. But my business page is Business Success Edge, and everything I do is under that umbrella. Like I don't have, here's my speaker page, here's my webinar page, here's my programs page. So you want to have this big, like think of where do you want to be? How do you want people to know you? Like in 5 years, if people were to send people to you, how would you like to be talked about? How do you want people to see you? Does that make sense?
It does. So I have some thinking to do, and it sounds like I should just start from scratch and do
It
a
would make
page
sense.
then.
Well, you can always rename your page if you haven't done it yet. Every Facebook page can be renamed once. So if you already have some followers there, you can just see if you can change the URL and change the name. You can also merge pages, so you can create a new one and merge them. So you'll have new name, but the followers from the old one. So there's lots of options, and without looking specifically how many followers you have, how many times you've changed your page name, it's hard to say. But there are options, so you don't have to completely walk away from it. You can reuse it and repurpose what you have right now.
Very good. Thank you so much. I appreciate your
Wow.
help.
Awesome. Thanks for coming
I would
on.
love for you to decide to join me, because we can do so much fun stuff with you.
It's a matter of time.
All right.
But I will.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, so why don't you give one more of the mistakes, and then we're going to bring on Sarah, because Sarah has a question as well.
Okay, let me pick one. Okay, let's do one that I see a lot of people make. So that's the automated posts. So automated posts is, sorry, my nose is itching.
That's the beautiful live video.
It's live, right? We're live. So automated post is, there's two different ways of sort of automating it, or three different ways. So one, you can automate it using third-party tools. So you can use Hootsuite or Buffer or Edgar or PageModo, or there's like gazillions of different tools where you can load months worth of content and just set it and forget it. Another way of automating it is you hire a social media agency or a social media VA, and they do all the posting for you. And the third one is you can automate it through Facebook. So every page has an option of pre-scheduling posts. And out of all the three, the hardest one to do is the one to do it through Facebook, because you have to do it one at a time, and you have to be like on your Facebook doing it. The other two are much easier and are big no-nos. So and people do it because it's easy, and people do it because it's cheap, and because it's like the least amount of effort. And the reason it doesn't work, so let's talk about the third-party tools. So if you use, let's say, Hootsuite, and your post get posted on your Facebook page through Hootsuite. So number one, next to each post, it will say posted by Hootsuite or via Hootsuite. So number one, Facebook punishes those, so you'll get a lot less visibility on those posts. Even though they say they don't, they really do. So if normal posts reach 100 people, posts posted through third-party tools maybe will reach 15 to 20 people. So immediately your reach is reduced. Number two, when people see those, it looks like a robot posted it because a robot did. So even if you ask a question, people will be like, yeah, but you didn't really mean it. You scheduled it a month ago. You don't even remember that you asked that. So I'm not going to interact with that, because it's been learned. Because over the last few years, so many people started doing that, and they go on vacation for a month, they ask those questions, and they never come back to check. So people have this learned instinct.
Is there a time and place to use Hootsuite or one of those is there a way to
yes.
use it, to where it does work?
I use it for all of my for the groups where it's appropriate, where I am a moderator. I would never post it in a group where I was a guest, because that's the best way to get yourself kicked out. Start doing automated posted to groups. However, for my groups, for my Facebook traffic explosion, I don't want to wake up at 5 a.m. and make a post for the next day. So here's the day 3 challenge. I used to do it before I realized I could pre-schedule those. And I have people all over the world. I have people on East Coast. I have people in Africa. They we want our posts when we wake up. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm asleep still. So I would reschedule them, and I don't care about the visibility of it because it's not the post that's designed to be shared. It's not the post that I want to reach a lot of people. It's for a specific audience who is looking for it. So for me, it makes my life easier. I can pre-schedule them and sleep in, and when I wake up, I can pin it or I can comment on it. And the biggest thing is, like with any automation you do, is you always want to come back and interact. So if you're pre-scheduling anything for your groups, make sure you come back and like what people said and comment on it and reply and engage, because then people go, yeah, it was posted automatically, but it's more of a convenience than laziness. And it's not like I want to be off the Facebook. I just want to have it showing up in a consistent manner. So even if I'm traveling or I'm sleeping in, it's always there at 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. So there's that. And yeah, and the thing that happens usually with the social media agency and VAs, that's what they do as well. They pre-schedule stuff through third-party tools, and then you think they're managing your social media, and yet there's no conversation. This is like the number one complaint I hear from people who take my program and then they fire their VAs. They say they keep posting stuff and there's nothing. There's 0 comments, there's 0 likes, nobody sees it.
Yeah. Well, and I see people, I see people paying, you know, a social media person, I don't know, let's say it's $300 a month. I mean, it can go, it can range.
It usually starts around $200-300.
$300, $400 a month, and you're going to get 2 posts per week. I'm like, I don't think so. I mean, that's not going to do anything.
No, and then they don't come back to talk to them. And even if they do, it's not your voice. It's not you, because people want you. People want to interact with you, not your 12-year-old nephew, and not to your VA who doesn't know anything about like what your knowledge is, because I can hire somebody to post for me. There's no way they can answer the same questions the same way I would. So you could hire somebody to create the post. You could hire somebody to use Facebook scheduling tool, because that's just busy work, but you need to be the one interacting.
Yeah. So I think the bottom line is you can use some of these tools to leverage. And I know in your Facebook traffic explosion, you go over all the tools, how to use them in a way that helps you instead of hurts you. And then the bottom line is, like, you can't, social media is something that you don't want to delegate the whole thing out. There's parts of it you can delegate out, but it's like being the CEO. Like, you are the brain of your company. You are your brand. And so if you just are completely hands off, I mean, when you get to be like, I don't know, I always like to use like someone like Tony Robbins as an example, or like Oprah. Sure, okay, maybe you can be more hands off at that point, but you know, most of us are not there yet.
I think like the way I see it happening is she had got a secretary going, hey, you got this question, what do you want to say? And Oprah will be like, tell her this, and somebody else will be typing it in. I still see that there's like, because there's that thought that's coming from the person, right?
Yeah, and that's the energy, like the energy behind it. I feel like people will pick up on that eventually if it's not authentic. So we have a ton more questions, and a lot of people join in. So I just want to address, welcome all the people that have just joined, Hugo and Carl and David and Mike and Mahad and Brandy. Somebody, Bethany has a question too. So I want to welcome all of you. If you would go ahead and press the little blue button that says "Tell a Little Bird," that will share this with more people that need to hear this message. And for those of you that don't know, this is my special guest, Alina Vincent, and she's been answering questions all about her Facebook traffic explosion program and the results that I've gotten. And so if you want to listen to the replay when this is over, I go over those results. And if you, part of the reason we're doing this today is because today is the very last day to enroll in Facebook Traffic Explosion, which tons and tons and tons of people have enrolled in this year and earlier this year. So I'm going to post the link to that program page so you can check it out. And I want to bring on Sarah because Sarah has a question. So Sarah, I hope you're ready. I'm going to bring you on now. And let's see what her question is. And then we'll go back and answer.
There's a few questions in that.
Some other questions. Hey, and we have about 15 minutes, so we're going to go pretty fast. So Sarah, tell us where you're coming from and tell us your question.
Well, I started a company or a business called Sane and Satisfied, and I help single moms find 10 minutes of bliss every day.
Nice.
And a smaller segment in that umbrella is called Heartly Broken, and it's for women who are going through a divorce. My friend Jenna and I are both actually going through divorce right now, and we've started a weekly blab show called Heartly Broken, and we bring on women from different areas, fashion, finance, writing, careers, coaching, just all over the place, to help women who are going through divorce, to kind of give a more holistic support for those women. And I've written a ebook. It is 24 pages long, and it has 6 worksheets in it that helped me through the early parts of my separation. And I have a website, I have a landing page, I have a Facebook group that has nobody in it, and I'm not sure, I don't understand why people aren't finding me, because, I mean, I have divorce in the title, so I don't know, like, I'm sure there are women looking for divorce groups, and I don't know why they're not finding me. So, I mean, I guess that's a question too, but my main question would be, I've become very confused and like spread thin with social media and marketing and things like that. And I guess I'm just wondering where to focus my attention and what I can do to be most efficient and, you know, get the word out about my ebook and about the weekly blab that we do, and just get these things going. I feel like I'm just sitting on them, and I need to get this out there. I need to get going.
Great question. Okay. I think I know someone that has answers.
Let me answer the first one, the hidden question that popped up. How come nobody finds you? So very few people will be Googling like the keywords, because for social media, that's not what people do. People will join groups because their friends are in it or because somebody recommends. That's kind of how social media works. Mm-hmm. So you need to start with people who are influencers, people who do have following, people who may be going through public divorce, not necessarily nasty, dramatic one, but just somebody who is openly sharing that they're going through divorce, and invite them. And then everybody else who follows them will be like, well, she's in that group, and I'm going through the same thing. Maybe I'm not so vocal about it, but I would like to know. And I would call your group something like Girlfriends Chatting About Divorce. You know, something that's like, it's safe, it's comfortable, it's secret, and it's just like we can dump our stuff or we can learn it. Because what was the name of your heart? Is it Heartbroken or Heartbroken?
Heartly Broken, and actually
that's your blab thing. So to me, it's your current state. People want to join group that shows them how they can be. Like, you want to look at the positive outcome.
That's not the name of my group. The name of my group is actually Thrive Through Divorce.
Okay, so that would work too. Yeah, absolutely. But explain it, like, start talking about it and say, hey, if you just want to talk to people who are on the same level, there's no judgment. So talk to people more about what the benefits of being in the group versus I have a group.
Oh, yeah.
And then say, if you have a girlfriend who's going through that, send her here. Mm-hmm. So just post it anywhere, like even if people are not going through divorce, because probably somebody knows somebody who's going through divorce. Yeah. And it's a matter of time. So you want to start inviting people. Like, don't ever add people to it, because that's the worst. Like, it's a big no-no. Don't add people to groups just because they're your friends. You want to personally invite people and say, hey, I have this group. I think this would be beneficial. And once you get the ball rolling, like, I started my group, like this Business Owners That Think Big, in February. Because I'm like, oh, I'm talking about groups. I should do what I'm telling people to do. So I'll create my group. Like right now, I'm at 800 people. So the first 200, I had to like say, hey, are you part of my group yet? Would you like to be? Now, like, I had 15, 20 people a day to it. And I don't even know where they're coming from. They're coming anytime I have a webinar, when we're doing a blab. I'm sure there will be people joining today, or they just see other people who are in the group and they say, my friend is in the group. I want to see what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So look at it that way. So that's number one. So it's like, it's not necessarily the keywords, it's who knows who and who can recommend other people. You can even say, like, today we're playing a game. Everybody invite at least one friend who should be in this group. Like, you all have that one friend that needs to have the support. So add them to the group, that kind of stuff. And then your second question was, it was a really big question. What should you focus on, right?
Yeah.
So would you like to, like, narrow it down a little bit? Because do you mean like which social platform, or should you be like on the groups versus the page? Like, so give me a little bit more specific question.
Well, I have this kind of mind map thing right above where I'm sitting. And really, I really learned by doing, and because I don't have anybody like sitting next to me saying, well, here's an idea, or this didn't work for me, or maybe you should do this. I have a hard time like trusting that my ideas are actually good. But the mind map that I have Facebook and Twitter at the top, but they just funnel to my Blab because I'm more comfortable communicating on Blab than I am on Facebook or Twitter. I feel like I'm more interesting when I actually talk versus when I have to like think about what I'm writing. I get too focused on the actual wording, and then to me it comes out boring. And I have more fun, and I feel more comfortable on Blab and on Periscope. So my idea was to have everything funnel to Blab, and then use Blab as my main marketing, and Periscope as my, well, and YouTube, because you can
So here's the thing, the Blab and Periscope are a little bit more of a trendy tools. Like right now they're hot. I'm not sure where they're going to be in 3-4 months. Like right now everybody's checking it out. There's people always lurking and seeing if they're going to use it. It might be just going high up and it's going to be a perfect platform for everybody. It could die off and be like, okay, we've tried this for a couple of months. There's something new now. So I don't know. Facebook will definitely be there just because they're such a billion, I don't even know what the numbers are after $1 billion companies. And they're putting a lot of money into making sure that's the platform that everybody uses. And look at what Jessica is doing. She's using her Facebook influence to promote this Blab, to post it, to bring people to Blab, to share information. And then what she's doing is she's taking them and putting them into her program or to join her group. So it's a circle. It's always kind of like you want to have traffic going from everywhere to your Facebook and from your Facebook to everywhere. But it's really hard. Like, so the Blab is over. That's it. We have no connection. I don't know how to connect with you. And talking on Twitter, to me, it's weird. Like, you can't have like a conversation or follow up with threads or several people having the same conversation. It's just differently visual. It's different to connect. On Facebook, you have that group. You have the same how many hundreds of people that every day you can say, hey guys, how are you doing today? What are you working on? What are you celebrating today? And you have this constant conversation, and people can pop in during the whole entire week and answer that question. On Blab, it doesn't happen because it's a live conversation. And once this conversation is over, what's going to happen after this? So like if we were only connected on Blab and I came to all of your shows, I still wouldn't feel like I had this connection with you because I couldn't talk to you. Does that make sense? So Facebook, it's a forum, it's a community, it's a conversation. So to me, you need to be working on both. I'm very happy that you have the Periscope and Blab presence. So all you need to do is have some kind of a group in the back, like the big basket that catches everybody. So anybody who's ever expressed interest in what you do and want to get a little bit more of you, just catch them there and say, now, like every Blab, I'll promote it here on Facebook and we can talk about those other topics because you can have much deeper conversations on Facebook. Does that help?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right, well, we need to wrap it up. I'm sorry, Sarah. I wish we had more time. Thank you for coming in. And Do join Alina's group and my group. By the way, Sarah, I was a single mom for a really long time, and I would love to contribute to your Blab show at some point. I would have lots to share. I've been working at home. Let's see, it's been 17 years now because my son is 17. I've been working from home since I was 19. So would love to contribute to your Blab. We have 5 minutes. You have another question from Jane, and I know you have a coaching session. So because we have so many people on live, I'm going to stay on after you get off because I can answer a lot of the questions, not all of them. But I know because I've been in your training programs and learning from you, I can answer some of the questions.
Oh, I trust that you know the answers.
So I will stay on longer. But Jane just popped out. We were going to answer Jane's question. So okay, she's back. So we'll answer her question, and then I know you have to hop off.
Mm-hmm. And I've been glancing at the questions in the chat, and a lot of them, that's pretty much exactly what my program is about. How do you create stuff? How do you find images? What do you post every day? So Jessica will share a link to it again. And yeah, if you want to know more, if you want to have more access to me, check out my program, and it's closing today. So I would love to have you in the program.
Awesome. Okay, so take it away, Jane. What's your question?
Well, it was a lot to do with what you just said. I was trying to be able to figure out how to post images. Like, where do you get all these images? Are you taking photos every time? Or are you grabbing them off of like Googling images and using them for your own? No? But how do you get all these images? Where do they come from?
All of the above, except for Googling the image and stealing them. That's called stealing. You never want to Google image and take it. So you take it yourself. Anything that serves as a great background, a sky, water, waterfall, flowers, just walk with your cell phone, and like even could be like sand or leaves, or so look for sunsets. So anything pretty that can serve as a background and you can put words on it. Yes, I always look for those things. I'm like, oh, I like that wall. I'm going to come closer and just take a plain picture of a wall and then later use it as a background. So that's number one. Number two, there's tons of programs that include images as a part of using it. So you're paying maybe $2-3 for an app, or you're paying $2-3 a month fee, very little, and then you can use, like, they come with thousands of images that you can use for free, well, as a part of your service subscription, and I teach all of those in my program as well. And there's also stock sites. So there's images as cheap as $1 and sometimes even less. There's free stock sites, so you need to look for royalty-free stock images, and then you can, and especially if you're using them for ads or anything like you're boosting, you want to make sure you have the legal rights to use it. There's also, you can look for royalty-free images. Some people release the rights to their images and they just upload it to certain areas. I have the links to all of that stuff in my program. I'm giving a lot of resources. So my program has tons of resources for how to do all of this Facebook without spending a dime on Facebook ads. I don't even touch Facebook ads as a main program, and all of the tools that are like under $5, and I share probably at least 15 different tools under $5 that you can use to create all of those images. So yeah, stock images, take images yourself, look for royalty-free stuff on the web, but never Google and take an image.
Okay, thanks.
So what?
Awesome. Well, thank you, Alina. I'm going to stay on for a few more minutes. I know there might be some other questions. Any questions I can't answer, I'll just make a note of them. And actually, if there's questions I can't answer, you can ask her in her group, right? Your Business Owners That Think Big group. So I'll make sure I link to that again. Was that helpful, Jane?
Yes, that was helpful. Yes, very much. Thanks.
Awesome.
Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for having me here. Sorry, I have to run. Okay. Next time we'll do a 2-hour one.
Okay. Bye. Bye. All right. So, let's see here. Oh, you want to stay on, Sarah, Jane?
I don't know. What would I be staying on for?
Unless you have another question. Otherwise, I'll let someone else come on and ask a question.
Yeah, you can go ahead and let someone else.
Okay, well, stick around. Thanks for coming on live. I know it's brave. Okay. All right. Well, we'll stick around for a few more minutes. If there's any other questions, earlier in the blab, I shared all of my stats from taking Alina's program, and I'll just reiterate a few of them. Gaining about 60% of my clients now for my business coaching are coming from Facebook. I've developed a group that has over 404 women entrepreneurs in it. I've enrolled 10K clients through Facebook groups that I've connected with people in. I've been on telesummits, radio shows, all of this from the tips and strategies I learned from Alina, which is why, I know I'm going to take you out of the group just because of some of the questions that you're asking. So let me see how I can do that. All right, so we removed someone that is kind of getting off topic there. All right, so I want to welcome Vicki and Devin, the Savvy organizer. So Alina just had to go for a coaching session, but if you want to listen to the replay, you can. What we did today is talk about, she didn't get through all 5 of her mistakes. She was going to cover the 5 mistakes that we're often making on Facebook. The first one was to not use images in your post. So every time you make a post, it needs to have an image. Does anyone remember the statistics she gave? I think she said, what did she say? It's 179 times more likely to have engagement. And then the second thing she talked about was not relying completely on third-party applications like Hootsuite or Buffer to do all your social media. You can use it for some things, but you don't want to have all of your posts come through a third party because Facebook doesn't give them as much engagement. Plus, the people that are seeing those can sense it's not as authentic. So those were 2 of the big mistakes that a lot of people make. And if you want to hear the other 3, she did a webinar. This is the last day that you can watch her webinar, so I'm just going to post a link to that. And Johnny's got a question, so I'm going to bring him on.
Can you hear me okay?
Hey, Johnny, how are you?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks. I'm in Oxford, England.
Oh, cool. Awesome. All right, so what's your question? I hope I can answer it.
Great. So I'm really interested in community development in the UK. And obviously there are a lot of differences between the way that people use and respond to marketing in different countries. I know in the States you're a lot more enthusiastic about online marketing than we are here, which can bring some challenges, unfortunately. And my question would be in regard to community development. Do you find that there are particular demographics that you just can't either grow quickly or are just very, very difficult to grow?
I think I would give you a better answer if you get really specific. So what type of community are you trying to develop?
So the communities that I develop are very different depending on the client that I'm working with.
Okay. Can you give me an example maybe?
Yeah, so say medium to large size business owners, I would usually speak to on LinkedIn for kind of corporate investment opportunities, the ability to invest in third sector organizations, charities, things like that. How would you go about kind of creating that kind of group on Facebook?
Okay, I'm going to respond to this question really quick. Sorry about that. That's the problem with this is sometimes you can get sidetracked with the side comments here. Are you asking how you would go about creating a Facebook community with that?
Yeah.
Well, I would say, first of all, are those people are they on Facebook?
See,
if they're more like LinkedIn users, then I would just focus on your LinkedIn group. I wouldn't try to move people over too much into something that they're not on. So
would you say that maybe then LinkedIn groups, because they are very powerful. They do some incredible things, and obviously people are getting some amazing results from them, as you have yourself. So would you say then that Facebook groups, it has to work with certain things but not others, and it's not transferable?
I'm just going to give you the best answer that I can. My perspective is that if your particular demographic is not on Facebook, then yes, it's going to be harder to get them all in a Facebook group. You know, if they're more corporate type of people, and you mentioned like, you know, business owners or medium-sized companies that are maybe looking for investors, I don't know if they're on Facebook every day. I don't know if they participate in Facebook groups. Some people perceive LinkedIn to be more professional. I mean, I've had people say, oh, you know, Facebook isn't professional, blah, blah. Well, for my business, I'm working with more like solopreneurs, coaches, and consultants. So the people that I work with, they are on Facebook. And so 60% of my clients are coming from there now. But I think you would need to do some target market research with your particular demographic to see where they're hanging out. And then it wouldn't make sense to put your time and effort into a platform that they're not hanging out on. Like if they're not on Twitter, you know, do you really need to spend a lot of time on Twitter? For me, I would say no. Sure.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So what, did you have another question?
Well, well, not really. I mean, I thought this was more about the communities. Just from what I'd heard, I only jumped in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you did. I mean, I'm not kicking you out. I'm just want to make sure I did answer your question.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I completely, I mean, I do a lot of Facebook ads, and what I find is that Facebook does allude that there are, because obviously you can target people by their net income through third-party big data, and you can also do, you know, various other things like targeting people of a very specific level, like directors of companies, a certain company and things like that, which is fantastic. But it's, yeah, I hear what you're saying with some people perceive Facebook in a particular way.
Well, if you're running a Facebook ad and it's converting, you can definitely move those people into your Facebook group. So again, it's just about, are they on Facebook? Are they on Facebook on a regular basis where they're going to see your ad? So you could run an ad towards a webinar or something, or run an ad towards some kind of free opt-in. And then on the thank you page of that, or in the follow-up email, you could invite them into your group, into your Facebook group.
Sure.
I just don't know enough about that particular demographic, like how often are they spending time on Facebook. But I would, speaking of Facebook groups, I would join Alina's Facebook group. I'm going to put the link again, and she could probably give you another perspective on that as well. So let's see, business owners. If you want to just Google it, you guys, it's or not Google it, but put it into Facebook. It's business owners that think big. But I'm going to also put the link. I would ask her that question too, Johnny, because she's a whiz. So, all right. Well, thank you for being here. I'm going to see if anyone else wants to jump in and ask questions. So I'll go ahead and release you here. Thank you. Oh, okay. He popped out. All right. So any other questions? I loved, Savvy Organizer. I don't have the rest of mine scheduled for this week, but I'll be doing that today. And I'm doing Blabs about 3 times a week. For those of you that just joined, I've been interviewing Alina Vincent here today, and she had to hop off for a coaching session. But my company is Permission to Charge, and I'm all about pricing and packaging your expertise and learning how to enroll clients into your program after you've repackaged it in a way that will sell. So, but today is all about Alina. I've got the balloons because it's the last day to enroll in her Facebook Traffic Explosion. And it's just a course that has really helped me transform my business online. I want to read what Savvy Organizer said. She said, my social media coach advised to master one aspect of social media, in your case, LinkedIn, and then you start directing them to other social media formats. I really agree with that as well. Right now, I'm personally focused on Facebook. That's been my main focus. And then now I've added Blab. And like Alina said, it's a circle. So when I'm on Blab, I'm often sharing my group with people, or if I am offering some kind of webinar that I'm about to do, or some kind of free gift that I have with a link, I'm sharing that to kind of build the community. Because like Alina said, you can have someone on Blab, they might follow you, but how do you kind of connect with them further? And Facebook groups are a great way to do that. Let's see if I know there was other questions. let's see here. There was something, the link that I put to Alina's webinar, it does say that the webinar is over, but if you look right below that, it says that you can get the replay. And I would encourage you to all watch it today if you can, even if you don't want to join another course or whatever. She gives such good information. I was reading all the comments from people that listened to her webinar, and they were saying, oh my gosh, I've got like a plan now, and I've got a focus, and I'm more clear. So if you're at all confused about social media, what's great about Alina and her courses is that she gives you the first 7 weeks is an intensive. So she gives you like daily activities, something that you're supposed to do every day. And she tells you what to post, how to get the graphics, how to use Canva or any of those other, applications. And it's like a 10-minute video every day telling you exactly what you need to do. So I want to thank you all for being here. I will be scheduling some more blabs for the week on various topics, especially topics that are geared towards coaches and consultants, because that's who I work with. And I really appreciate all of you that were on here live. That means a lot. Before you go, will you click the blue button that says Tell a Little Bird so other people can be alerted of this and they can catch the replay. And thanks, Boomy, for being on here. We definitely need to connect. So I'll be scheduling a few more blabs for this week. I'm trying to do about 3 per week right now. And yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it. And if you want to get in on the last day of Facebook Traffic Explosion, join a lot of my clients have signed up for it, and I'm in it, of course. I definitely don't promote things that I haven't, that I can't vouch for. So want to share that link one last time. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you, and I hope you have a wonderful Monday, or it might already be tomorrow, depending on where you are. So awesome. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.